Hey, one more thing before you go. What do you get when you have an angel and a demon who work together to save the world, get punished for it, and sent to Earth to spend the rest of their eternity? Stay tuned. We're going to answer these questions more when we have a conversation about one of our favorite shows on Amazon Prime. What is it, Diane?
Good Omens.
Welcome to One More Thing Before You Go over the Teacup Sunday with Michael and Diane. I'm your host, Michael, and I'm here with my lovely wife and co host, Diane.
Hello, happy Sunday.
Welcome to the show. Hello, Diane.
Hello, Michael.
This is Sunday, so grab a cup of tea or whatever you're drinking just to relax. And we're going to have a good conversation about, again, one of our favorite programs. We've been waiting forever for this program to come back. It's now in its second season,
Mhm.
and we're hoping that it goes for a third. They kind of
Yes,
allude to the fact that it may go to a third, and we're going to manifest it's going to go to a third.
yes. The first season was in 2019. It's been forever.
It stars one of my favorite, which we'll talk about here in a second. But I am a Doctor Who fan
Yes, you.
through and throughout, and it stars like my favorite Doctor Who, David Tennant. So I'm really excited about this, and I do have a problem with his hair in this, but you
That's a
know,
you thing. That's
well, that's a
that's a you.
me thing. But it's an amazing show. Should I tell everybody about it?
Yes.
Amazon's Good Omens is in its second season, as we just said. It's an adaptation of Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman's novel. It's a witty and whimsical story of how an unlikely group of heroes saved the world from the apocalypse, which they probably need to show up about now, present day, I think,
Yeah.
in reality.
It's seeming that way, isn't it?
Yeah. The show follows the adventures of an angel, a demon, a witch hunter, and Antichrist as they try to thwart plans of heaven and hell. Um, you it this it's an amazing premise just for what it is in the first place. And
Yeah.
season one was like on the edge of your seat. Yeah, they left us with a cliffhanger that was, was like, well, the typical cliffhanger. Like,
Right.
we want
It was
more.
it was a good cliffhanger, right? And then they made us wait for a long, long time, and it wasn't nice of them.
It was not at all. It is kind
No.
of one of those things where they kind of they kind of go, "We're going to tease you a little bit, and is it coming back? Is it not coming back? Is it coming back?
Right.
Is it not coming back?" I'm just glad they got it done before the strike,
Yes.
for the
Yes.
writer's
I was
strike,
thinking
before the
that too.
SAG after
I
strike.
I had turned on the TV to work out and saw it was just the first thing that popped up on the screen that it was back, and
Yeah.
I couldn't even talk. I went
Well,
running out to the room to you, and I was like, Michael, Michael, Michael. Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty good. And for obviously we support the actors and the writers
Oh
for
yes.
their journey in regard to the strike and trying to um, get more money. Realistically, I mean,
Mhm.
I'll leave a link in the show notes. It's amazing the amount of or little amount of residuals that some of these actors are getting for shows that have been on for a little while, and so everybody understands the process in regard to that. Just briefly, an actor. Our daughter was an actor, is an actor. Basically, when you do a television program or you do a movie, you get residuals when it shows again. Those
Mhm.
residuals help you to continue with a constant income. Over a period of time, they do reduce. So, over 10 episodes, 10 showings, it'll go down a little bit, 20 showings, go down a bit more, 30 showings, down a little bit more, that kind of a thing. But actors and writers survive on this.
Yeah.
So, as an individual that has supported, and as a couple that have supported the entertainment industry for quite some time, before we even start with this, obviously it puts a little damper in one of our favorite pastimes, which is watching movie and TV. We do support them in regard
Yes.
to this because they do have to make a living.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, anyway, off my soapbox there just a wee bit. You see, I'm watching David Tennant, and I have to bring about my Scottish accent because he's really Scottish, even though he's playing an English guy.
He does really well. I'm not into Doctor Who. I never really got into it, but um, I really like him in this a lot.
One of these days, I'll drag you into
I know
it.
you've been trying for years,
Kicking
and
and
I,
screaming.
I don't have anything against Doctor Who. It's not usually the kind of stuff I watch.
It isn't, but lately you've been opening your arena of what you do watch in the things that you have kind of went, oh wow, I guess yeah, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get lucky and
If the strike goes on much longer, then
you'll
I
be a
may need
Doctor Who
to give
fan
it a
pretty
watch.
soon.
We'll start at the beginning, and it'll be there.
Oh yeah, we're running out of stuff to watch. We'll start from
Yeah.
the beginning,
Hmm.
so we'll work. Anyway, let's talk a little about the premise. The premise is about I always and we always have a hard name with this, right? It's an angel's name, so it's kind of
Oh,
Aziraphale.
it,
Aziraphale.
it, I thought it was Arizafale?
Aziraphale. Aziraphale. There it is. Aziraphale.
Azraphale.
So I'm going to say that just once, and we'll talk to him, the angel, from now on.
Yes,
It's Aziraphale.
Azraphale.
It's funny because in season 2, there's a demon trying to go after him, and he's trying to pronounce his name just like I did, and it's really funny actually.
Yeah.
And then Crowley. I know him as Crowley as well. This character was also in Supernatural, which you guys should also check out. But these characters are an integral part of this particular show. They're an angel. Aziraphale is an angel. Oh, I said it. Crowley's a
Did
demon who have been friends since the beginning of time. They enjoy living on Earth and have grown fond of humans and their culture. They decide to work together to prevent the apocalypse by influencing the Antichrist who's just been born. Well, has been born, but they've been hiding him. They've been helping hide him. Who was switched at birth with another child. However, they end up raising the wrong boy and lose track of the real Antichrist. It stars David Tennant, as I just said, David Crowley, or as Crowley, Michael Sheen as Aziraphale, and they both do an amazing job.
Yeah, they're really good. It's so interesting, and this season, in particular, that gets more into their relationship and
Yeah,
how
where it
what
started, how it got there, and where they're at.
right and what they've been through throughout the span of all existence, really.
Yeah, and again, we'll talk about this, but it appears that they are constantly stalked by heaven and hell to see if they're actually friends and if they're actually you know kind of
Working.
working with each other behind the scenes.
Hmm. Yeah.
But additional cast is Miranda Richardson. Some of these names you'll recognize. And Jon Hamm. Jon Hamm plays Gabriel. He does an amazing job of playing what we would think would be Gabriel.
Oh, Jon Hamm.
Yeah, yeah. And for
Jon
all
Hamm.
you ladies out there, yeah, you'll see an extra portion of Jon Hamm in season 2.
Yes.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Nina
No comment. Comment.
Nina Sozanya, Dune Makachan, and please forgive me for not pronouncing your names correctly if I missed that. She plays Archangel Michael, which is an interesting because they have a female playing Archangel Michael, and this is like the third incarnation I have seen where they have Archangel Michael as a female.
Hmm.
Did it in Constantine with Keanu Reeves, and yeah, she did it even in there. It was to
A female
me.
Michael.
I'm sorry.
A female Michael.
A female Michael, yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I didn't give it a second thought.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? You when you think
Yeah.
of Archangel Michael and from the depictions that you see typically of Archangel Michael, it's this warrior
Hmm.
that's standing up there and so forth. Which not I'm not saying that a woman can't be a warrior because there
No,
are
no.
amazing women that are warriors. But
Yes.
I didn't have a second thought about it. And I mean, I grew up Catholic, so they're very strict about certain things.
Hmm.
So I'm sure that they have a thing or two to say about this.
Hasn't Archangel Michael always been portrayed like in pictures of them, or art of Archangel Michael? They've had long hair. It almost look um I can't think of the word all of a sudden, where it could be either male or female,
Yeah, it could be
really.
male or female.
Right.
So I think so. I
So
mean, it is. I mean, it is not beyond the grasp. I like it. I like the character. She does a really good job. You know, and a lot of these things, we believe in archangels when we talk to our archangels. If you listen to some of the other episodes, one more thing before you go, you know that we believe in angels and archangels. So we talk to these archangels whenever we get the opportunity. We do, although we don't talk to Aziraphale.
I had never heard. I mean, that must be maybe it's a made up one. I don't know if that's supposed to be like,
I'm gonna have to investigate that.
yeah, an actual name of an archangel that, in the list of archangels as we know it,
Yeah,
we've never heard that
I've never
one.
seen
But
that. But then
yeah,
again, we've also looked up angel stuff and then went, I've never heard of that one.
that's true. That's
You know,
true.
kind of a thing. So who knows?
Yeah.
Gloria Abbiano plays Archangel Uriel. Frances McDormand plays God. So they
Hmm.
have a depiction of a female as God, as a woman as God, which I think is unique in itself as well. Because, I mean, what was it that an old movie with,
Oh, with Ben Affleck.
yeah,
Yeah, I love that movie. And Alanis Morissette.
thank you, Alanis
Yes,
Morissette.
knew it would come to
Yes,
me.
we do love pop culture. Yes, we are movie fanatics, but yes, we are getting older, and sometimes that slips our mind.
Oh, so many things slip our mind. It's not even
It's
funny.
funny. Well, this Good Omens is so well done. That was
Yeah.
nominated for 3 Primetime Emmys, 5 wins, and 14 nominations total.
Mhm.
So it's interesting because it's basically in season one. There's 6 episodes in each one. Yeah, there's 6 episodes in each one.
Mhm.
Season one and season two.
They're
So
very, they're very. It's a very bingeable show. So
it is
if
very
if
bingeable.
you haven't watched it, you could get it done in a weekend.
So as Diane just said, episodes are between 45 minutes and an hour, but again, very, very bingeable.
Mhm.
Do you want to hear about season one? Should we tell everybody about kind of
Yeah,
season one?
I mean a little bit because we want
A
them to
little bit.
watch it. So don't.
We'll go give away too many secrets, but
No spoilers.
just a few secrets. So, as I said earlier in the intro, when Armageddon is triggered, it's triggered because of the birth of the Antichrist, and he reached a certain age. It's Satan's child reached a certain age that Armageddon was supposed to be triggered. So, Aziraphale, I'm getting better at that, and Crowley team up with the other heroes to stop it. In the first season, the Antichrist has been born, which means the end of times is coming soon. However, Crowley, a demon, and Aziraphale, an angel, have each spent a lot of time on Earth and would prefer not to see it destroyed. So Crowley, and Aziraphale decide to work together to prevent the apocalypse. Their plan is to influence the upbringing of the newly born Antichrist, the spawn of Satan, in an attempt to thwart the Antichrist role in the apocalypse. I got that from, believe it or not, from the actual novel, the writers of the novel.
Hmm.
Excuse me, that they adapted into the screenplay. The book and the show itself, it opens up with the expulsion of Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden, and then jumps forward to the time of the birth of the Antichrist. His presence on Earth indicates to the forces of heaven and hell that the apocalypse is nigh, as the book states, and that the Armageddon will culminate in the ultimate battle between good and evil here on Earth. During this time period on season one, we also find out about the presence of a witch that predicted all of this, and
Right.
her descendants, and it's Agnes Nutter. She was a witch who had made accurate predictions centuries before a witch hunter killed her. Her descendant, if they come up with names like this, do they sit around and think about how difficult can we make these names so that we can only pronounce
Pretty
them?
much. Pretty much.
Anathema. Anathema
Right.
studied her predictions and went to England to stop the apocalypse as well. So the witch actually, her descendant is
Right.
introduced in season one, and then there's a witch hunter that starts coming after her. And
Mhm.
there's a unique twist that I won't say what that is
Yeah,
between the. Was that?
I said, yeah, don't do that.
I'm not going to do that.
It's very interesting and there's twists and turns.
Yes, we'll just say it that way. um, Not knowing, basically, as I said, there's the witch hunter, and there's another witch hunter who is actually the descendant of the original witch hunter
Hmm.
is now hunting this witch. in the first one. And at the same time, she's looking for the Antichrist kid.
Mhm.
And that's pretty much the story. And then, of course, they're trying to stop the apocalypse. And the culmination of all that ends up on a military base, which would make sense,
Mhm.
and we, again, I don't want to give too much away, but basically, you'll have to decide whether or not it ends or if it does not end, if they stop the apocalypse or if they didn't stop the apocalypse.
Mhm.
So, what did you like about season one?
Well, what I can remember of it, it, it was just really interesting. I thought the concept was really interesting, and the way they have to travel through, and the things that they have to do to make things go the way they need them to go. You know,
Yeah,
it how they have to work together, and it's unlikely that this group of people might work together for the common good, but they are. So yeah,
right.
it was just
It's an interesting concept because in reality, if anybody, if you're spiritual, religious in any form, there's always been these naysayers, these individuals that continue to get up on the soapbox and say, this is the end of the world. This is the apocalypse is coming, and they've done it, over the years. They've
mhm.
done it probably the last 20 years. I think in 2000 they thought it was the apocalypse
Oh
coming.
sure, oh yeah, yeah,
And then they did it again about 5 years later. Now they're going to do 5 years after that, and everybody thinks the apocalypse is going to be here. Heck, you and I talked about the possibility of it being here right now with the Antichrist walking the earth in a particular person's stupid suit, which we won't talk about.
stupid bird suit even. Yeah,
uh, so, it's, well, I could say a whole lot more, but
yeah. We
that's
just
for
don't get into that. We
it's a
just
whole
don't.
nother conversation.
You know, we are debating whether to maybe do another podcast on that
Expand the
topic.
podcast in a different direction,
Yeah,
on part of the direction. So,
I would
yeah,
not. I will not be on it, but it would be all you,
it
and
will.
you have plenty to say on the subject. So
I do. I do. Almost like I'm married to it. See, I do.
yeah, you kind of are married to it,
Well,
actually.
it's yeah. Well,
Yeah.
back to the story.
Yes.
Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman are the ones that actually wrote the book in the first place, the novel, and I think they had a brilliant concept for what was
Hmm.
transpiring, what was going to take place, and the intricate characters, other than these weird names
Yeah.
that we can't pronounce, which they're probably having a glass of wine or a beer, thinking about laughing, every time somebody
Sure.
brings it up.
Yeah.
Neil Gaiman is actually the producer and the showrunner for Good Omens, the program that's on Prime, Amazon Prime right now. It is an amazing opportunity for people to get a um, a unique perspective on what if.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
What if?
and a unique perspective on, if you already know, stuff from the Bible, and things, how, in the Bible they say things are supposed to happen and going to happen. If
Yeah,
you're very, up on all of that, then you
yeah,
might really enjoy this and how
a little
this
bit
take on
more.
it.
I
I
think
have to
so
say
too.
though, I really like season two, I think even more.
Season one was very well done. And
Mhm.
I think that it intrigued us enough. It got us introduced to the characters. It got us introduced to the premise. And again, it leaves you on the edge of your seat,
Mhm.
to the end. So if you haven't watched it, you really need to start. And fortunately and unfortunately, you have to have an Amazon Prime account to be able to do it, because it's on Amazon Prime. Maybe they'll move it later from there. I don't know. Possibility exists. I've seen some things go from Prime over to like Hulu or Netflix, but I doubt it because they're competing, streaming services. But if you get a Amazon Prime, don't cut me off when I say this. You can always get a free trial. Binge this, and then cancel your free trial because it'd be worth it.
Yeah. Please don't cancel us.
Please don't cancel us.
Please don't cancel us.
So it's interesting because the concept of Armageddon is left at the end of season one. And yeah, and if you go to IMDb and you look now, you'll see it. But uh, Crowley and Aziraphale are both put on trial. So they're going to decide whether or not what they're going to do with them because they suspect that they co-conspired in order to stop the apocalypse because everybody was wanting this. The angels up in heaven were going, we want to fight, we want to fight, we want to fight. The demons are going, we want to fight, we want to fight, we want to fight.
Mhm.
They're both all biting at the bit. So, it leaves that open a little bit. But as we evolve into the second season, it opens up. Um, it's now, as after the punishment is laid down
Mhm.
in season one, you're going to find that in season two, both Aziraphale and Crowley. See, the more I say it, the more it just rolls off my tongue. Maybe that's what they had to do when they wrote it. They just kept saying it.
Maybe. Maybe.
They're now exiled from heaven and hell. Aziraphale and Crowley must team up once again after the mysterious arrival of a familiar face. Here comes a little bit of a secret, but it's in IMDb, so I'm not really giving it away, but you could guess probably as a naked archangel turns up at the door to the renegade Aziraphale's bookshop with no memory of who he is or how he got there. And Aziraphale and retired Demon Crowley, lives become extremely complicated. Heaven and hell are both desperate to find the runaway. The runaway, as in the archangel, who doesn't know where he's going. As Crowley and Aziraphale are back in the attempt to fix a human romance, in the middle of it, things become increasingly unsafe for them in the past and the present, and that is from IMDb. So I give credit to IMDb. I wanted to make sure that we said that correctly.
Yep.
So yeah, we started watching it. We kind of dove right into it,
Yeah.
and we've still got 1.5 episodes to watch. We
Mhm.
will be honest
Yeah.
before it's
Yes.
over,
Yes.
but we had to take a break and come and talk to you all about it.
Right.
So what do you think of season two?
I love season two. I do. I think that um it answers a lot of questions that at least I had after season one. And like I said, it explores more of their friendship and kind of when they met and what happened, and they have actually been going through all of existence and all these major things, wars and you name it, they went through it, and
Yeah.
they revisit it does go back and forth. It's back and forth into time. If they're jumping timelines, and they're not really clear on that, so you kind of have to really pay attention. But um, it shows like what happened in the past and how, because of what they did in the past, why they're here now, which is
Yes.
interesting. Yeah.
You get to see the friendship. I mean, they
Hmm.
kind of imply a little bit more than a friendship, but
Yeah. They
you
haven't
get to
really been clear about that.
haven't
But
been clear about that.
mhm.
But you get to see that friendship evolve from the very beginning of time, as we said, in the beginning of this show, and how it's evolved. And you see that both of them really enjoy where they're at here on Earth,
Mhm.
and they really don't want to screw that up. And it's an interesting twist at the end of last season and the beginning of this one because it when they get um, judged, when they go through trial. That was one of my favorite parts, actually,
Mhm.
because of how it transpired and what they ended up doing and pulling it off and so forth. Because it kind of shows you that there's a little gray area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a gray area. So the angel didn't quite lie,
Hmm.
but didn't quite tell the truth. The demon didn't quite tell the truth, or didn't lie, but
Hmm.
didn't quite tell the truth as well. So, like he says all the time, Crowley, all the time, I'm a demon, I lie. I'm a
Hmm.
demon, I lie.
Right.
But in
Right.
this particular case, he may have, but he did it for the right reasons.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I think it was pretty, so far, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah. It's a great show. I hope they have a season three.
It has an amazing supporting cast. And I
Mm.
know that we recognize some of these names I do not recognize, but Miranda Richardson, of course, recognize her from many things. Jon Hamm, of course, obviously Jon Hamm,
Hmm.
and Nina Sosanya. Don't recognize her name very much, but I've seen her in several other things. She's, a well-known visual actor. You see her; it's like one of these other supporting actors that you see in, 100 different other programs.
Character
Um,
actor.
yeah, Dune Makacham, who plays Archangel Michael. I don't know if I've seen her in anything else either, but she plays a great Archangel Michael,
Her she looked very familiar to me, but I can't place what I've seen her in.
which is seen her in,
So
yeah.
yeah, I think she's a fairly well known character actor that you know the face, but you don't really recognize the name.
Well, and obviously everybody knows Frances McDormand. Now, she was prevalent in the beginning on season one, but I've not really heard her speak in season two.
No,
God seems to be,
I don't think so.
probably gave
Not
something
yet.
away. Yeah, I think
They they
God,
they talk about God, but they don't. I don't remember
something
hearing.
about, yeah,
Mhm.
whether or not they said, say anything to her. I mean, I haven't heard her come on and say anything about it. But again, we've still got, you know, we still got an episode and a half to be able to watch. So, have not seen the Antichrist kid in season two, although you think it should be because it's obviously at the end of season one, it still showed him kind of still wanting to be a kid, but
Hmm.
still kind of going a little bit on the dark side. Goes back to the
Hmm.
gray area kind of
Yeah, and
thing.
it's kind of interesting as we're talking about this that they haven't really talked about Armageddon or anything in season two. It's like so they
Yeah,
stop it,
but they're
or
kind of
they
trying to hunt
it
them.
seems
I
like
think
they stopped it. Maybe they didn't. We don't know. But then they're not really talking about it. They're just kind of going more into their friendship over the span of
no,
existence.
I think they were punished because they did stop it. And they
Okay.
turned, they turned the Antichrist kid.
Well, yeah, but okay, but so they stopped it then. But if if heaven and hell were so bent on having this happen, isn't that still a risk that
Well, it
they're gonna try it again?
well, that's why we want a season three.
Okay. All
Season
right.
three. Season
Because I know
three. Season.
they're not talking about it in season two. They're not.
We need a Good Omens 3.
Yeah, we
See?
do.
That's what
Yeah.
we need because 'cause it'll wrap all this up, see? That's why
Hmm.
we need that. Because yes, the it still does exist because in reality, even though the son of Satan has reached a particular age, and that's supposed to be the age of reckoning,
Hmm.
okay? It got thwarted a little bit. So
Hmm.
in reality, the possibility still exists that the Antichrist can still change his mind.
Right. Right.
But the season two spends a lot of time basically trying to still go after Aziraphale and Crowley, and
Hmm.
then find the lost archangel. Because I mean, who loses an archangel?
Right.
Who, who's going to get in trouble for that?
Yeah. And
you
well,
know,
then heaven's really trying to keep that under wraps, because
they don't
that's
want
not good.
everybody to know, especially this archangel, because obviously, it's a very important archangel, very powerful archangel, and all of a sudden they're gone and nobody can find him. And
Hmm.
it's a fun second season. I think
It is
it's
fun. It's
yeah,
fun and it's funny. There's so much humor. It just makes you laugh. I love it. Yeah.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot. Oh, and for the Doctor Who fans out there, there's some little subtle,
Yeah.
what do you call them, Easter eggs
Easter eggs. Hmm.
in regard to the connection between David Tennant and Doctor Who.
Yeah. You
So
get
you
so
just have
excited when that happens too. You
it
get
does.
very excited. Like, oh, there's one.
So they're both for everybody out there that if you're a Doctor Who fan, you need to
Mhm.
watch for them visually, and then you'll hear some audibly. So some of them are very very apparent. Some of them are not quite as apparent, but
Right.
you just need to keep an eye out for them. And if you have to, watch it once and then go back and watch it again slowly.
Hmm.
Look
Yeah.
for the Easter eggs. That way, hey, to get more views, right? Get more views, we get a season three. We get a Good
Yes.
Omens 3. So
Yes.
I would think so.
Mhm.
Anyway, overall, so far, what do you like about season two?
I think I just like the fact that they're going back through time and showing us how, um, like in season one, at least for me, in season one, I didn't realize uh, how long how associated they'd been with one another. So I think this is kind of a good way to let us in on that of how they've worked together on several things throughout existence.
Yeah,
So I just think that's really interesting.
here's interesting. Well, I think that shows them as a friendship thing because, I mean, look, I'll be honest with this, and I'm not giving anything away in this regard because you'll find it out in the first season anyway. Crowley is a fallen angel. He used to be an angel up in heaven, and he's a fallen angel. So he's not Satan fallen angel, but he is a fallen angel. So he was sent down below for his penance, and
Mhm.
then Crowley escapes. So that's season one. He comes up from there, and he's been living on Earth, and they kind of leave him alone in this kind of a deal. So now in season two, they're not leaving either one of them alone
Right.
because they think they're working together still because part of the agreement was they weren't supposed to work together or do
Right.
anything together, but they kind of
Right.
keep that under wraps. So yeah, I think that's my favorite part. I think it's just a little intriguing cat and mouse game that
Hmm.
it's between good and evil, but at the same
Hmm.
time you show not that I have any empathy for demons. Don't get me wrong. Now, if they all were like David Tennant, maybe.
He is fun.
He is
I mean,
fun.
as demons go, this one's a fun one.
He's a fun one.
I
Exactly.
wouldn't mind hanging out with him.
He wasn't like and of course, I'm going to try to get my memory back together again.
Uh-oh.
Lucifer, Netflix,
You mean the one that played
the
Lucifer?
one that played Lucifer.
Tom Ellis.
Yes. So
Yes.
Tom Ellis would
Yes.
show the evil side of himself every once in a while in
Yeah.
Lucifer, which is another great show. You should watch that if you haven't
Oh,
watched it. Go
please
back and
watch that
binge it.
show. Yes.
Our
Yes.
daughter's in one of the episodes.
Yes.
She is. She is. Two of the episodes actually. She's in two of
Yeah.
the episodes.
In the background. Yeah.
Yeah, but she's right at the bar,
She's
and
right at the
she's
bar.
right next to yeah. So
Yes.
your overall recommendation for everybody out there listening and watching?
Watch it. Watch it. Watch it.
And what are they
Thumbs
going to
up.
watch?
Where they're going to watch it on Amazon Prime.
And what are they going to watch?
They're going to watch Good Omens.
Good Omens 1 and Good Omens 2.
And you have to watch both. And they're very bingeable. And there's only 6 episodes per season. So,
That's only 12. That's 12 episodes. You
that's
could
12
get one
episodes.
done one day, one done the next day.
You can do
Or you
this.
could stay up, start at 8 in the morning and end at 8 at night.
Yep. Very easy to binge.
Very easy to go.
Yeah.
Well, my sentiments exactly. I think that you should go watch this and do it quickly. And again, if you're an Amazon Prime member, it's already there. If you're not, you can always get a free trial and watch it then. If you love it, then you can stay with Amazon Prime. And we don't make any money by saying that.
Yep.
I kind of wish we did, but we don't.
There
But
are there are good shows on Amazon Prime too. So
there are,
yeah.
which I'll be talking about. Because there's going to be some changes coming to One More Thing Before You Go. So I'll warn you, there will be some changes. We're going to take a small break. I'll give some details in the next week here. I'm going to take a small break. We're approaching our 300th episode. And I'm going to take a little bit of a break. You'll see some reruns for a little while, which we're going to pick out some of the best ones so that, something you may not have watched if you're just joining us, you may not have watched, or if you have been with us, which we are grateful for,
Mhm.
something that you may can revisit to get some refreshment of the podcast itself. But we're restructuring just a little bit. We're converting to seasons and we're converting to some new content and it's going to be good. Everything's for the positive. Everything is going to be great with it. You're gonna
Mhm.
love what we're bringing to you.
Yep. And
I think
you need a little bit of a break because you are a one-man show.
I am a one man show.
Yeah.
Although I get some help from my daughters and my wife
Yes.
occasionally.
Yes.
But yes, I'm a one man. I'm the chief bottle washer up to the chef
Right. Of the podcast.
of the
Yes.
podcast, if you can put that analogy there. So
And
yes,
you
I
stay
do
very
need
busy.
stay very, very busy. So please stay with us. We appreciate it if you would stay with us during that time period and grace period. Again, I'll give some more information here in the next week, and that way we can continue this journey together. For one more thing before you go, I think you'll like the changes. So
Yes.
the involvement. Anyway, Diane.
Yes.
Well, let me say this one more real quick. Go watch Good Omens on Amazon
Yes.
Prime, season
Yes.
1 and 2. You're gonna love it. So Diane, this
Yes.
is one more thing before you go. Do you have any National Day things for people maybe today
Yes.
and or maybe tomorrow?
I haven't looked at tomorrow, but I can. So today, Sunday, August 6th, National Root Beer Float Day.
How about
I
root
was
beer float?
I was never into them very much. Did you like those when you had them?
I love root beer floats. In fact, remember when the girls brought me some natural root beer and
Oh,
some
that's right. That's right.
dairy-free ice cream for
Yep.
as a surprise, and they brought it home and
That's
said, "We're gonna have
right.
root beer floats." It made my night, man.
That's right. Yeah. I'm not I can take them or leave them, but that's right. I remember you do like those. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, it was great.
Um, so go have a root beer float, everybody.
Please do.
National Friendship Day. So this is a good day. And National Sisters Day, which is interesting. I have to tell the girls because they just went to see Barbie today together. So how about that on National Sisters Day?
That's another good movie.
Yes,
We'll
good
talk.
movie.
We may talk about that later.
Everybody, well, it seems as though everybody has because they passed the
Yeah.
$1 billion mark. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, go see it. Barbie's awesome. National Fresh Breath Day. Okay, yeah. National Wiggle Your Toes Day. All right. Well, I wiggle my toes all the time because they hurt, and so I try to wiggle them to loosen them up. But whatever. And American Family Day. Let's see. What do we do for family? Well, we talked to my parents today, so there's that.
Yes.
We did not talk to
Um,
the girls yet, but
well, it's because they're in the movie.
they're in the movie. So
They're in the movie.
we did a little bit of family stuff. So um, I oh tomorrow. Here we go. Tomorrow.
Just give us like 2.
Okay, that's a weird one. Um, how about National Purple Heart Day is tomorrow.
I think that everybody should take note of the National Purple Heart Day, and if you know somebody
Mhm.
that has received a Purple Heart, which is the one of the highest, most distinguished awards to any military member of the military community and risking their life for others and or
Yes.
themselves.
Yes.
Um, so yes, I would seek out and tell somebody that you know with a Purple Heart. Thank you.
Yeah. Commemorates the creation of the oldest American military decoration for military merit. Honors the men and women who are of the Military Order of the Purple Heart. Yes.
Well,
So,
I will seek something out tomorrow.
yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this conversation, Diane. I really appreciate it. I think we had a good time. I think
You're welcome.
yeah, I think it's good. Everybody else that's out there watching and listening, one more thing before you go. Have a great day. Have a great night. Have a great week. We thank you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next Wednesday.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of One More Thing Before You Go. Check out our website at beforeyougopodcast.com. You can find us as well as subscribe to the program and rate us on your favorite podcast listening platform.